Hello, hello, hello. This is I'm gonna go by its first introduction, first video, first time actually doing this anyway. But as you can see, I got my drink in my hand. Yes, I am a Steelers fan, by the way. You see out there around me. But for the most part, I was thinking that we really do need to have discussions, um, real discussions anyway, about what's going on in the world today and how things are going on, because what we're starting to see is like, all right, I'm a 1994 baby, just turned 30. Shit, matter of fact, last month. So what I would like to talk about is the world that we live in today, and how it is all affecting us, even for even as time is going on, because it's like, especially let's talk about this independent black woman, what you want to call movement. Not targeting them individually. I'm not targeting them, completely. But here's the thing, and I feel like the results are in, right? The results are in. I feel like we're going to talk about a lot more of that. I mean, as long as I continue to make videos anyway, as I get more comfortable with this. Like I said, it's my first time actually doing this, but I feel like I got a few topics at the very least that can be shot at, and we can really talk about it and get into. Um, like for instance, let's talk about the idea of, like I said, this independent movement and things like that. Like I said, I'm 30. Okay, I'm 30. So I feel like our parents' generation, all right, which is people in their 50s, like mid 50s, early 60s, all right. And like I said, I mean, this could be based upon all communities, but I think it's more so really affected within the black community because, like I said, we're the ones with this strong independent movement. But like I said, our parents, our parents' generation is I want to say the real first example of what it looks like when you go about that. So here's the thing, like I said, the results are in, and I was talking to some people even online, even through our Facebook, and was talking about the housing market, right? The housing market and how everybody's being priced out, which I'm not worried about. Matter of fact, I bought my home just this year. I mean, early this year in January, I put down payment for my home, so it's not going to move like people rents anyway. Not bragging, I'm just saying. But anyway, the point I'm looking at is like, so the discussion we were having, and we were talking about, and we were talking through the comments or whatever, and what we're starting to realize is that, like I said, our parents' generation, okay, these are people in our parents' generation, a bit older, but these were the first, I want to say, wave of people doing this whole independent movement thing, rather, as far as not having husbands, all this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like what we're starting to realize is that these people are the primary people, okay? Besides young folks, which they, you know what I'm saying, us young folks are struggling anyway. But they are talking about how they're being completely priced out of the market. And like I said, these people are getting older in their elder years. Like I said, our parents are in their late 50s, you know, early 60s. So it's like they're talking about they're being priced out of the market, and I feel like a lot of these are people without husbands. All right. So with that being said, it's like, so most of I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I would feel like the majority, our grandparents still had husbands. So they are the ones which, now people are trying to sell off their grandparents' homes and all that stuff. But our grandparents were still stable. You know what I mean? Mine passed like 2021, both of them. That's sad. But yeah, it's like they were still stable. They had the balance. They weren't worried about rent because, like I said, back then, if you had a husband, that you were looking to build your network. Nowadays it's like I said, in our parents' generation, were a lot of solo bottom dwellers. So what you're gonna find, okay, this is what's gonna happen, and we're starting to see it a lot more. I mean, I'm realizing this stuff with down the line with people. I mean, my parent was a single mother. My father wasn't around, you know. I mean, he was around, but he didn't straighten up until I was an adult, unfortunately. But what you're starting to realize is that these are the people, like I said, our parents and people are a bit older than them that are getting priced out of the market because they bought into the whole movement of, you know, you can get out here and do, you know, what you want by yourself. And it's like, it sounds good, right? It sounds good and highly believable up until the point where you get older and you realize, okay, because my position, okay, this is what my position says. My position says a woman by herself generally isn't going to save any money. She's not going to do it. She just won't do it. Women typically only save money if they're with a man. Typically that's because he's pitching in and mainly carrying most of the weights. You know what I'm saying? And what they like to do is they like to, you know, play their little stash back of hiding back funds or whatever the case may be. So what you're seeing is that, like I said, our parents, like I said, I'm 30. Our parents' generation are going to lean on their, and we're already starting to see it. They're starting to lean on their kids more and way more than their parents leaned on them. You know what I mean? Because like I said, our grandparents didn't need any help financially. They were great. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, our parents' generation, and like I said, this is very big amongst the black community, which is my main target base. It's like it was very big for us, and which is why we, you know, oftentimes, you know, you talk about people can't being saying things like they can't wait to grow up, and it's like, why? Because mainly, like I said, our parents' generation, people that were, you know, grew up in the 70s, 80s, you know, these people generally didn't work. All right, they didn't work as much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, if you look back at your parents' generation, like I said, I'm talking about they did like 90% or 80% rather of parents that just wasn't actually doing much at that time. So, and that's why you get out here and you start. A lot of people starting from the bottom, and they don't have any, you know what I'm saying, parents didn't hand them anything. And I'm not saying you got to be a golden trust baby, anything like that. I'm just saying you should have a basic starting point, and you didn't have that. For most people in my generation, you didn't have that, you know, and especially coming out again out of the black community. Because again, we look at our parents, we looked at our parents, and what you're seeing was, like I said, you want to grow up, and what you didn't really realize is that at the time they were doing all this partying, right? Because a lot of them didn't work. I mean, now as an adult, you looking like, how were these people able to meet up and find the time and energy to meet up every Friday, Saturday? You know, and why? Because most of them didn't work. It's not nearly as much sweeter today. So, like I said, what you're starting to realize is that people are really, really starting to look at things. And like I said, as our parents age out, you're going to see more and more them leaning towards their children to actually do more for them. Which, like I said, it's a natural habit, but I feel like what's going to end up happening is people in our generation, and they did research and as far as traits and all that stuff, people are aging out. Matter of fact, I don't have any kids myself. I'm solo dolo. They never be married and none of that stuff. But the point of the matter is like we talk about because they did this thing where they got this pyramid, right? They got this pyramid, and again, like I said, they talk about people are not having as many children as they used to. So it's like you know, we have this pyramid to where we're not really creating enough people to actually replace our aging people. So, you know what I'm saying, they did this thing where older people are supposed to be at the bottom, and then the people who are supposed to replace them are going at the top, and all the older represents the bottom, and then from there it just goes and turns into a triangle. In other words, it symbolizes that symbolizes that people, there are fewer and fewer younger people. You know what I'm saying? It's very few. And it's crazy because, like I said, it's something we think about, and like with the economy. And this is another thing I would like for our community, black community, to stop doing is just stop having children for the ones that are having them, because typically when they do have them, they have them in boatloads. I mean, there's no plan for them. They just go, and that's a problem for us. That is a problem. But as I was saying, it's like what we're starting to realize is that you have all this independent energy and it's going absolutely nowhere. Okay, no one wants to really be honest about it, but it's going absolutely nowhere because, like I said, the chickens have come home. Okay, the eggs are hatching, and what we're starting to realize is, like I said, women are not saving money by themselves. Actually, and like I said, I was doing the research. I mean, looking up online and through the comments, and like I said, older people typically were women saying the rent's entirely too high. You can't really find a place to stay. But like I said, this started with that generation and probably a little bit before them, to where, because I mean, hell, I have a sister that's even like, well, I'll move in with a guy, but only if we're moving into a place at the exact same time. It's like, she's like, I like to have my own money, which is a very selfish way to be thinking, and that's what we were dealing with nowadays. But it's like you look at that and you really pay attention, and it makes you pay attention to a lot of the things that we have going on. And like I said, it's older women in particular that are like, it's hard to find a place to rent. It's hard to keep up with the rent. And the reason why is because it's like, realistically, you weren't supposed to be out here. You weren't still supposed to be out here renting. As an older woman, you're not supposed to still be out here renting. This is a young person's game, right? You shouldn't be in your 60s renting anywhere, okay? But that, like I said, you shouldn't be in your 60s or late 50s or renting anywhere. You should have got somewhere, found your husband, and built the network. And it was the funniest thing though, because it's like, I was on Facebook, I seen one woman hold an older woman accountable because she was discrediting marriage. And she was like, why are you trying to project what your experience is on younger people? And which I commented, I'm like, you haven't noticed that, previous generations have been doing this for centuries? I mean, not centuries, but yeah, they've been doing this for the better part of like 50 years, to where they're trying to tell younger women to avoid marriage, when in reality, it's a safeguard for them. It's a safeguard, and it's like a safeguard for everybody. But just realistically, like I said, a man, myself included, will continue to save money whether he's with somebody or not. He'll find a way to do it. Women, not so much. And like I said, generally they don't save money unless they're with a man. So it's crazy. We live in a crazy time where, okay, it's like when we talk about the prices of everything, like I said, I mean, I'm looking at people and they're talking about inflation. I'm like, what the hell is inflation? What is inflation? And don't get me wrong, things are getting more expensive, but I'm in a place in my life where I don't really see, I don't feel the effects of it. I would say I don't feel the effects of it. I mean, I work, I go to work. I work a lot actually, and I pay my bills, and I still save money every month. So it's like, but then again, it's like I know how to budget my funds. So, but like I said, generally, women just don't budget well, and we have to get to a point where, like I said, in the black community, where we are keeping them in a sense to where they can get around folks, and that really pushes the point of being married. Because like I said, in the black community is more so, myself included. I mean, I've recently come to realize, like, I'm avoiding attachment stuff, but it's just like, what I'm saying, it's part of my upbringing, what I'm saying, but I feel like I would do well by myself, which I have done. Like I said, everybody else complained about the housing market and stuff like that. When I just went and put down for my house this year, it's just the beginning of this year, and it's just like, but I just feel like, for me, you're gonna hear more videos from me. Hopefully, when I, stream up the topic, hopefully I will only improve at this and only get better at this, because like I said, in my main target base, I feel like will be the black community, because that's my community, and which I care about. And it's we're not facilitating a lot of marriages, and we're not staying together, and we're not building networks, and that's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. I mean, and I told people, I was just telling somebody the other day, I mean, a couple of weeks back, also through Facebook, it was like we were having a conversation, and they were talking about, you know, I forgot what the complete topic was. Oh, it was some about black folks not sticking together, and I was like, or black people not really valuing family. That's what it was. And I was like, Mexicans value family, and they, you know, they tried to say that it was, it was who was it? It was Tyrese made the comment. He was like he felt like he was born in the wrong race or whatever. That's his problem. And it was like somebody mentioned those self-hate or whatever. And I told him, I was like, no, it's not self-hate. You know, I was like, it's not self-hate. It's a fact. I was like, think about it this way. I was like, Mexican people value family so much that they have been able to surpass black people in the matter of like 50 years. Like I said, and I applaud them for that. I'm like, every city you go in, including in my state, you know, out here in Florida, you know what I'm saying? I got to say it like that, Florida, you know. But yeah, down here, it's like every city I go to, and I'm pretty sure every city you've been to, it's like there's a little Mexico in every city you go to, literally, because they value family that much. So you don't just get that. And the thing is that, you know, we used to have our own communities. I mean, we still do, but they're very fragile. I mean, like where I stay, it's like a little community. You want to know people that really seem to do a good job amongst black people, establishing a little set of or a little piece of community. I would say from my environment, from what I experienced and from what I've been around, it's Haitians. Haitians come over. They build little sections for themselves, and they got little stores around them and things, you know, and it's great. And you'd be like, okay, why don't you take part of that? Yeah, but you know, that's not really our culture, right? It's not really our culture. Don't get me wrong, I'll get down with some Haitians, but it's just like, it's not really our culture. You can still go there and feel somewhat out of place. It's just one of the things where you got to look at it, and black people have got to really get back to that mold. And you know, again, Haitians or whatever, we got to all bind together and understand that we're all in the same place. We're all the same people. It's something that really has to be done, you know, and we don't really have to take a sip of my Smirnoff, yes, no, but we don't really actually value it. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a selfish take on it, where, you know, and we wonder why. And I mean, and actually, it's just kind of what the world looks like in general now, because it's like everybody's trying to do, which I've kind of been able to do, but everybody's trying to do everything alone. And really, you're supposed to have a family and a network to kind of build yourself around that and build things around it. You know, with your husband and wife, you know, you have a combined income, you know. I mean, unfortunately, you know, it don't, you know, seem to work. Like I said, it really wouldn't work that way now, because like I said, you know, you got people, women in particular, you want to make money, but you don't want to share your money. You want to take your money, throw it wherever throw it wherever, and then you want the guy to come in, your husband, to come in and just take care of everything. And it's like, that's a selfish way to think. It's a selfish way to think. You're going to be a team. You got to really be a team. I always tell people, if I was to get married, or if I was getting in a long-term relationship, something like that, I would, you would have to come in, and the woman wouldn't be able to come in unless you listen to me. Why? Because I already have everything in place. Like I said, I have the house. I have everything. It's all in place. You know, really, you just be coming into my world. You know, you either assist me or you got to get the hell on. It's just the way it is. You know, because you're a helpmate. That's what you're really supposed to be, and that's what people don't want to understand. See, women have gotten away from, black women in particular, have gotten away from being a helpmate, and they want to be at the top. They want to lead everything. They want to be, and you know, I mean, you're important in your own way, but you know, so you're gonna be honest, women aren't meant to lead. You know what I'm saying? It's too emotional to me. They come through and, you know, destroy things. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of that going on in our community. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was raised by a single mother. I had to kind of get myself and adapt to, you know, and I still, like I said, I still have some things I need to work on, but I had to get my way back to adapting to being out and close to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like those tendencies, they kind of rub off on you. But like, you know, it's all you see, you know. But for the most part, I would say, you know, we really got to focus in on getting some of this stuff done. Because like I said, the chickens have come on the hatch, all right? That's my driving point. Is the chickens have come on the roast. The eggs are coming to hatch. And it's showing that women are really, in a state where they really aren't doing well. I mean, like I said, you got these people that tell you they're getting to the bag or whatever, but really that's a small, minute, and they're just very loud. So it makes it seem like a lot of people when it's really not a lot of people. All right. I mean, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like myself, before taxes, and like I said, down here in Florida, I'm doing pretty well. I'm no six-figure earner. Don't get twisted. But I think last year I did the most I've ever done, and that was like I did what before taxes, like 50, 57, close to $60,000. I was like, okay, and I'm only going to move up from there, hopefully. But like I said, I really, I was able to do that and set myself in place, and I've got what I need to kind of and I just need to balance that out. And it's just like, again, I always tell people, like, if I see couples all the time, and I'm just like, well, at the end of the day, when you tell me you're struggling, it's hard out here. And I'm just like, how? When I'm one person and I'm doing, what I'm saying, I'm doing better than people that have two people. I know people that have three, four people in the house, and they still struggle. They still struggle, and it goes back to what I'm saying. Back to what we know. Is that black people tend to do things out of order and out of sorts, and it's very poor planning, and it's just you don't manage well. All right, so like I said, it's one of the things where you just got to really look at, and somebody has got to say it, because like I said, they're gonna keep listening to these same talking points and keep listening to the same people and believing that that the world is set up for this whole framework, what they think what they believe in the world to be, which, and like I said, it's like there's a very small minute of women that's actually getting this bag that you claim. It's a very, very small fraction of it. But like I said, they are so loud, okay? They're so loud that other women come out here that aren't doing so well, and they try to take this same approach. Because, like I said, these people these women that are doing well, they're so loud that you think they think it's a lot of people, and it's not a lot of people. The reality is, most women, you can go back to Florida, you're lucky if you get a woman making $30,000 a year. It's big, that bad. It's that bad. But then again, our wages out here is a bit different, but it's that bad. Like, and it's just the way it is. And somebody, like I said, somebody's got to say it. And I feel like, as long as I keep making videos, and as long as I see my talking points and I start seeing more stuff in the world, I'll bring it to you and I'll let you know. Because the reality of it is, like I said, I'm more blacker than I've ever been. And I really don't want to see a bunch of black old women, okay, out here in homeless in the near future, because you thought that you were out here getting a bag when you weren't getting a bag. And not only that, you called yourself getting a bag, but you weren't saving a dime. You don't have a network. And it's got to be said. It's absolutely got to be said, because it's one of the things where you just got to think about it and really realize what's going on. But this your boy, Eponetic, which is what, that's what I call myself by the way. It's a little brand I got. But yeah, so look forward to hearing me make more videos on more topics. But like I said, we have got to stop. We've got to help these our people, our black people, black women in particular, from going around and taking this crazy path that is going to lead them to eventually possibly being homeless. Peace.